As we go forward, I think we're going to go right into the program. We're going to start out with a video message from Senator Klobuchar.
Hello to everyone at the Kanabec County Economic Development Conference. I think you know I'd much rather be there with you in person, but there's just a few things going on right now, so I'm honored to join you via video. I'd like to thank your mayor, Mayor Skramstedt. I'd like to thank Doyle Jelsling, the chair of your County Economic Development Authority, and all the local business leaders attending. Your attendance today proves that this conference is filled with men and women who are dedicated to not just your own businesses, but to working towards a stronger economic future for our state. Your success is a great testament to the talent of your leadership and explains a lot of the success we've had across our state. You're part of the reason Minnesota's unemployment rate, 2.8%, is significantly lower than the national average. We also have an impressive number of successful companies in our state, including today's conference sponsors, GPS 4593, Neighborhood National Bank, First Citizens, and Minnesota Energy Resources. Thanks for helping make today possible. Now, as all of you know, we've recently come out of the longest and most senseless government shutdown in American history. 35 days of hundreds of thousands of workers not getting paid, causing unnecessary anxiety and unwarranted chaos. It makes our country fall behind in an incredibly competitive global economy. Thanks to our workers and businesses, we've reached a moment in our country where we should be governing not by chaos, but by opportunity. We should be working together to pass legislation to make critical investments to create a workforce that's prepared for the 21st century. By 2040, 74% of all Minnesota jobs are expected to require education or training beyond high school. Right now, less than 50% of our workforce has that level of training. We have businesses that need workers. We have workers that need jobs, but oftentimes their skills just aren't matching up. Nearly half of Minnesota manufacturers said finding and retaining workers with the right skills was one of the biggest challenges they face. We can fix this. That's why I've made education a priority. We need to invest in STEM education in high school and community colleges. We need to recognize that not everyone needs a four-year college or wants a four-year college degree. My sister didn't, not at first. She didn't graduate from high school. She got her GED and a job at a plant down in Iowa. She went to community college and eventually got a four-year degree, and she's been an accountant ever since. There isn't one path to success. There are many. Last summer, Congress passed legislation to reauthorize the Perkins Career and Technical Education Act to provide more of those pathways, and the President signed it into law. This legislation also included my bill to look at the best ways to promote career and technical education to students, including ways to get teachers, counselors, and parents involved in making sure our students know about the opportunities that exist in well-paying, in-demand jobs. But we can't stop there. We must also strengthen our commitment to 1- and 2-year degrees, like degrees offered by Pine Technical and Community College, which I got to visit once. And we must invest in our workers through training and apprenticeship programs. The bottom line, and why all of you showed up today, every person in this country, in our state, and in our entire nation, including Kanabec County, deserves a clear path to a good job. And what about making it easier to afford childcare, huge issue in rural Minnesota, or finally passing legislation to bring down the skyrocketing cost of prescription drugs by ensuring more competition? We can start by passing my bill to lift the ban on Medicare negotiating prices directly with drug companies on behalf of the 43 million seniors that could be affected by this, something the President has said he supports. Now, none of these issues are easy. They will require all of us working together. So let's get to work. Now's our time. Let's make the investments in our rural communities and have our clear rural agenda and continue to support our Minnesota businesses and strengthen our entire country. Thank you for your good work improving our rural economy, and enjoy the rest of the event. You deserve it.
As I watched that introduction, I thought there was a number of very, very appropriate points in there. Today, the purpose of this conference is to put together the people, the educators, the economic development, and private business. And it's the private business part of it that we're trying to focus on today. And show what programs are out there and what tools are available to avoid the workforce desert. This conference is part of, it's one of the legs, and a very important leg, but GPS is taking this task on, and they have had and have continuing opportunities to explore what the school and the education, and then also what we're trying to do is get the legislators very, very involved and active in what's going on. So on that regard, I think GPS just received an award for this particular topic, and if you want to go to the GPS table and look at it, the award is sitting there. So again, a very important topic that we're involved in, and Kanabec County is happy to be part of this. I believe, and I'm really going out on a limb here, next year's conference, as Senator talked about, the issue of childcare becoming an important or extremely important part of the workforce dilemma, and I'm pretty sure that that's the nominated topic for next year's conference. So again, it's an ongoing effort on our part. So with that, we will move on to the next part of our agenda, and we have our keynote speaker, Kent, is going to talk us through partnerships and workforce development.
Pleasure to be here with you today. It's my first trip to Mora, so pleased to be here and experience Mora. So I'm president of Anoka Ramsey Community College and Anoka Technical College. I'm on my 6th year here, and you know, Senator Klobuchar was talking about not everybody needing a 4-year degree. I got my start with a 2-year degree in X-ray tech, and so that's how I got my trajectory moving along forward, and then of course back to school and back to school and back to school many years. But without that start, I would not be where I am today. So I'm a very strong advocate for the 2-year college system. And so I want to share some things with you today about Anoka Ramsey and Anoka Technical College. Then we're going to get into some of the things that we do for our workforce. And I brought my top-notch machines instructor, Matt Rogers, with me here today to talk about manufacturing. So we'll get on with it. So Anoka Ramsey and Anoka Tech, we have a unique partnership. It's called alignment, and nobody really knew what that meant when I got here, but basically what we have is a sort of a service arrangement where we share administration between the two colleges, and they maintain their separate identity, and we try and leverage what we do together in partnership. So we're a pretty large institution when you look at both of our colleges combined. About, you know, you can see up there over 16,000 credit students and another 4,000 students that we serve that are non-credit. When you look at our combined colleges, we represent the largest 2-year institution in the state. So we have a lot going on. There's about 90 students from Kanabec County enrolled at our college, and that could be anything from students taking concurrent enrollment to online students, or to students going to our Cambridge or Coon Rapids campus. And well, 67 go to the Cambridge campus. So, okay, next slide, please. Before I talk about our strategic plan, I should let you know that this arrangement of alignment saves about $800,000 a year by combining administrations and IT, HR, facilities, so we're running pretty efficiently with this too. So we just completed our strategic planning 2.0, we're calling it, and so I just wanted to share with you what is important to our college. First and foremost, committing to student success, helping our students get jobs or move on to that next degree opportunity. Promote academic excellence, we work very hard. Matt's going to talk about his machining program. We work very hard to make sure we have state-of-the-art technology and that we're doing great things. And I think probably the main reason for our success is really goal 3, is trying to create that culture of collaboration and mutual caring and concern for one another. And I think that really is a strong foundation for where we are moving forward. But really today we're going to focus a little bit more on our goal 4, which we've sort of modified from strategic planning 1.0 to 2.0, but really to work on our reputation and partnerships. And you can see there are some goals. Obviously, working with K-12 is a big deal for us. Just wanted to share some information with you. So, well, I guess I'll wait to the next slide for that. But K-12 are 4-year partners. It's very important. Business and industry, we couldn't survive without business and industry. One way that we responded to workforce, we brought welding from Anoka Tech up to the Cambridge High School. And so that's one way for us to be able to work together and serve our communities. So here's just a list of some of the partnerships that we work with. Obviously, industry is huge for us. We have a lot of great relationships with industry. They help us fund equipment. Matt Rogers here has been responsible for getting about $3 million over the last 3 years for equipment for his program from our local manufacturers. So that relationship is huge. School districts, our universities, we have actually some universities right on our campus. You can get a bachelor's in psychology right at the Cambridge campus. Of course, we're part of the larger Minnesota state system and we have leverage there. Legislators, we have a great relationship with our area legislators. One of the important reasons for our success is they had put through a bill a few years back on leveraged equipment. So for every dollar that we get from business and industry, we can match that up to a certain amount. And we've been very fortunate to be able to invest in our institution. And of course, that relationship with the legislature helps us in doing well at the Capitol and also keeping our tuition rates down. We have the lowest tuition in the state at Anoka Ramsey. As far as K-12 partnerships, this really is a very strong component of Anoka Ramsey. And I want to introduce Shannon Kirkite. Shannon, can you stand up for a minute? She's our dean that works with all of our local high schools, and she does a fantastic job in outreach. But you can see the large number of students that we have. So concurrent enrollment, that's when students are staying at the high school and we partner with the high school teachers to deliver education. We have 14 schools and over 2,000 students are able to get college credit while staying at their high school and being dual enrolled. PSEO, that's when students actually come to our college and take credits. And you can see there's a large number there too for Anoka Ramsey. And we're getting more and more into that at Anoka Tech as we expand on our technical education for high school students. But probably one of the things I'm most proud about is our concurrent enrollment in PSEO, and we save parents and students over $7 million a year in tuition through this program. So it's really phenomenal. The debt that students don't have to take on, and especially if they can get about 15 credits in high school, they're far more likely to continue on with their and complete their college degree. So very important relationship. And I was told this, and it's hard for me to believe, but I checked with our institutional research. 72 schools is how many schools we work with for PSEO and concurrent enrollment between Coon Rapids, Cambridge, and Anoka Tech. So it's pretty huge numbers of students. And then Anoka Tech, we have a special relationship. We have the secondary technical education program. It's actually a high school building right on our site in Anoka, and that's through the Anoka Hennepin School District. And students enroll throughout the district, but they come to the STEP High School and take programs like manufacturing, welding, automotive, there's a number of others, and we work directly with them. So Matt will have students from Anoka Tech, but also students from the high school in his classes. And, you know, for technical education, it's more complicated to deliver to high school students because some of the rules on teacher credentials and things like that, but we're working hard to overcome them. And really for our students, actually Matt has a student who's going to graduate from high school and Anoka Tech this year? Yep. This year. Yeah, pretty phenomenal. He can go out and get a great paying job. So, and then at Anoka Tech, we also have another high school, and that's the alternative high school. And we have about 150 students that are 19 to 21-year-olds on our Anoka Tech campus who are basically finishing their high school diploma for whatever has happened in life circumstance has caused them to be delayed in their high school graduation. But we have the Anoka Hennepin Technical High School right on our campus. So these students are able to get their high school degree, but they're also able to take PSEO classes right on our campus and take a manufacturing class or an English class or whatever. So that's really a strong partnership too. So we're very proud of that. So this, I don't want to read through this list, but we have a lot going on in healthcare across the colleges, and probably one of the biggest things in healthcare is nursing. We have a lot of nursing graduates each year at the RN level and the PN level, and just a number of different programs. Some for credit, most for credit, but we also do like nursing assistant, home health aid. Some of those programs are not for credit, and actually some of the agencies actually sponsor those. Manufacturing, again, you can see there we have quite a bit going on in manufacturing, and you know, Matt will talk a little bit more about that when he comes up here, but really at the Tech, focusing on the machine trades, mechanical drafting, and then Anoka Ramsey has a great pre-engineering program where we have a lot of students go from the Coon Rapids campus at Anoka Ramsey to St. Cloud State. So Anoka Ramsey has quite a bit going there too. Another real core area for us is information technology. Both our colleges have pretty robust information technology programs, and there's a lot of demand for those careers right now too. So when we look at our relationship with business and industry, one of the best ways for us to engage is through internships or apprenticeships, and really there's a large benefit to the host for that. You can see there, probably the biggest thing is they can get a first feel for how their students or potential employees will do at work. So they get a chance to check people out. They have a chance to help influence the direction of our future workforce. One of the things I have up there too, foster leadership skills in your employees. So if you have a internship and you have a preceptor, somebody that works at the hospital or agency, they can develop leadership skills too. And I was actually one of those preceptors way back many years ago as an x-ray tech. So I took on and basically supervised the x-ray students that came to the clinic site. And so for me, it was really a good development opportunity as well. So we like to get our students out in business and industry. It gives you all a chance to check them out, and it gives them the experience that they need to be successful. This is just a little bit more about our nursing programs. About 120 nurses a year we graduate at Anoka Ramsey, and about 70 at the Tech. And Anoka Ramsey is the RN program, and Anoka Tech is the LPN program. We also have a relationship with Metro State University. And so at Anoka Ramsey, our RN program goes right into the BSN program right on our campus. So that's a great relationship too. One of the ways that business and industry can attract nursing assistants is actually to hire people before they have a nurse assistant credential and then train them. And that's one thing that we've worked with Presbyterian Homes quite a bit on, is they actually hire people, and then our non-credit side of the house, our customized training, actually trains them, and they are able to be successful employees. So it's really a good program. One thing that I'm really proud of, as you can see in my bio, I was the chair of the Anoka Area Chamber a couple years ago, and was on that board for 4 years. And one thing that we worked on was this manufacturers cohort. We had about 80 representatives from industry, our college, the high school, and we really worked hard to focus on manufacturing, and it's been very successful, and really trying to build a pipeline for manufacturers. One of the interesting things that we did was have a manufacturer's signing day, and you know how in athletics everybody's so excited to sign to go to wherever you pick. I'd pick University of North Dakota, of course, that's where I went to, but so we had about 50 students sign letters of intent to go into manufacturing last year, and we hope that number will get bigger and bigger and bigger. And part of this manufacturing cohort was really designed to work with the high school and get to students earlier and try and get them on a trajectory for manufacturing. There's just some information there about how the chamber there, and John Letourneau is the head of that for the chamber, and how it works. And it's really just such a great community partnership. And I think, you know, I don't know what role your chamber has in this community. I'm sure it's a strong one. I've been involved in chambers of commerce from up north and East Grand Forks, Minnesota, down to Austin, Minnesota, and now at Anoka. And I think the chamber can really have a great role in unifying business and industry and education, and really working hard at that. And I think there's probably a role up here for that too. So when we look at workforce, there's about 3 ways that I can think of that are really great. So what can you do if you need a manufacturing, somebody to work in your manufacturing plant? Well, you can go to a high school and actually convince a high school student to go into manufacturing. You can pay for their tuition. Hopefully at Anoka Tech, you could go to Pine Tech too, that's okay. But so you can pay for their tuition, and they can come to our school. You can hire them as an intern, and then you can hopefully have a great employee, and you could ask them for a 3-year commitment or whatever it is. And Matt will give you some examples of that. Sponsor students for internships and get them early at the technical college. In today's environment, if you want to recruit students that are graduates in many fields, you can forget it because you're too late. You really need to get on board with them early, preferably even before they start in some of these career fields. And then the other thing that is important for us is we actually do training out in the business and industry so you can upscale your workforce. On my first slide there, I showed we have about 4,000 students across the region that we go into business and industry and train folks. So that's another way to help with your workforce needs. Okay, so before Matt comes up, I wanted to just mention one other thing. I think my job is to be like the chief braggart of the colleges, so I just wanted to say a couple things. So I don't know if you heard, but Anoka Ramsey was rated in the top 10 of all colleges in the country in 2017, so we're very proud of that. They looked at a number of factors, but job placement, graduation rates, how we assess student learning and the success rates of our students of color. So we're very proud of that. We slipped out of the top 10. We're in the top 150 now out of 1,200 colleges across the country. So we're very proud of that. And of course, everything that we do related to manufacturing at Anoka Tech, they really put us on the map. So I'm going to turn over to Matt Rogers now, and then I'll stick around and we'll have some questions at the end. So thank you.
Thanks, Kent. My bio is not in your folder, so my name is Matt Rogers. I'm a machine trades instructor at Anoka Tech. I've worked there for about 5 years. I started about 6 months after Kent started, so we've been there about the same time and worked together really well. So one of the last things on this slide that mentions number 3 is MSJP grants, which are a great opportunity through the state of Minnesota that companies can get actually apply for a grant to get incumbent worker training. And I'm actually doing one of these grants right now. Later today, I have to drive over to Monticello for a company just purchased by Polaris to do training for their incumbent workers. So we have the same instructor base that we use at the college. We go out to local businesses as well. If you get this grant, the state actually pays for the training. So it's a great opportunity. So just to talk a little bit about some of the apprenticeships and how they work. Some of the biggest ones we have with companies that are in our local service area. Command Tooling, which makes tooling for CNC manufacturing or CNC machine tools. So these actually hold the cutting tools. They're actually located right down the road from us. They work a lot with the high school and with us. So we have students that'll actually start in the STEP program and get their start in learning manufacturing. Once they turn 18, they can actually work in the shop. So right now, the state of Minnesota caps that off. A student who's in high school technically can't run a machine tool. So they'll get them started through the STEP program. Once they graduate that, they'll start into our college program and also start an apprenticeship through the company. So the company will pay their tuition. They work a reduced number of hours so that they can focus on their schoolwork as well as get their feet wet in industry. So they'll limit hours to 15 to 20 hours per week. Students successfully completing the program are then hired on full time. So it's a great way to get students started, and we have a couple different companies that structure this in a little bit different way. So just a quote from Mike Hilber. He's our actually the high school instructor. So he's kind of our pipeline. Students will get started in his STEM program in the STEP building that's located right on our campus. Students actually in his program share our facilities. So they're using our lab equipment. They see what our students are doing while they're working through Mike. So they'll get to see what's coming up. They get a nice taste of seeing how college actually works, the kind of projects that we build. So then Mate Precision Tooling, they make punch and die press tooling. They're one of our bigger hirers of our students. They hire quite a few of them. So they actually have a little bit more structured apprenticeship program. They actually have our students sign a contract. So when they hire them on as an apprentice, they're required then to work for 2 years after they've graduated for Mate Tooling to cover basically the cost of their tuition. So they work a certain number of hours. It's a very good company to work for, so most of them even stay on past the 2 years. And this is a quote from Wayne Vandenberg. Mate's another interesting one because we have punch and die press tooling in our lab facilities as well. So Mate will actually come over, and instead of using their equipment on site because they're trying to make money on their equipment, they'll come over to the school and test out some of this stuff on our punches and dies. So it's a nice partnership. Cretex, RMS, which I'm actually a completer of their apprenticeship program. Way back in 2000 when I graduated from Anoka Technical College, I started my apprenticeship at Cretex RMS. Once again, another similarly structured program. They have an agreement with the student. They expect a lot of our problems originally when we had apprenticeships is it would turn into like a slave labor type of an idea where you can get a student and now I can just put him on a piece of equipment and that's what he's going to be an operator for that. So it doesn't work that well if we have that kind of an arrangement. So all of these companies have agreed that they're going to have the student complete college. They will move them around and have them learn new skills. You get a better employee that way. When I went through Cretex's program, that's exactly how it was structured. So I got the benefit of learning all kinds of different processes within the plant. So when we work together and we come to an agreement, we all kind of make a better employee, make a better student. And then this is kind of like the Navy SEALs of apprenticeships, is our apprenticeship with Medtronic. Medtronic they're not so much a production facility, they're more of an R&D and testing facility that they have for machining in their facility in Rice Lake and Fridley. So they come to us and want maybe 1 or 2 apprentices, and it's not usually on a regular basis. So this is kind of the high end of apprenticeships, and they have a very structured state certified apprenticeship. So what's required for the state is that they have so many hours of schooling, I believe it's 2,000 hours of schooling, and a diploma, and then an additional 2,000 hours of on-the-job formalized apprenticeship. So once a student has finished and gotten their diploma and then worked another 2,000 hours, the state will certify them as a journeyman machinist. So it's one of the rarer programs. So, and this is a quote from Guy Thayer. Guy Thayer actually came through our machining program and then continued on and got a bachelor's in engineering, and now he runs the R&D tool room basically in Medtronic. So I think Kent would like to say a couple more words. So. Okay.
So again, we're here to partner. That's what we do. It's really important to us. I don't think we could be successful at all without help from business and industry, our school districts, universities, chambers, workforce development centers. We're here to partner. And so you have my contact information and some other contact information in your packets, and I welcome any call from you, and we'll see what we can do. One of the challenges, oh, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah.
So because of all of your relationships with these manufacturers or the leaders of the program that you're able to establish, do you find that, have you experienced a case where a manufacturer will pay closer to you because of that?
I don't think we're quite there yet.
We've actually had a lot of the benefit of they're already there.
Yeah.
So if you actually go behind where our facility is, there's a railroad tracks. Behind that, it's all manufactured.
Yeah. And this is at Anoka Tech here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at this point, you haven't actually.
No, but
Been able to
that
get
would be ideal if we could get to that point.
Yeah.
And
There's a possibility of that. We've actually, up in Ramsey, where they're building the new core area right off Highway 10, I noticed there is a brand new machine shop that opened, so I'm going to go see if maybe they moved there just because of that.
yeah, this guy, he goes after everything, so hopefully we can. But anyway, so partnerships are very important. One of the great things about this alignment is we have really the best of both worlds. We have a really, again, a top 10 community college that has focus on transfer education and workforce, and then really a wonderful technical college, and that relationship is great. One of the challenges that we have in Cambridge and up in this direction is the Cambridge campus doesn't have a lot of high bay space, so like for us to do welding or machining there is problematic. So if you have any ideas about how we could get some high bay space up in this area, we'd sure love to look at expanding some things. I've been bugging Matt about getting some kind of at least intro to manufacturing up this way, and he's thinking about it, but again, we need that.
You want to move the equipment, huh?
We need that. What's that? Well, it's just
enough job openings basically to move a program up.
but so like you couldn't do manufacturing probably in this space here. It's got to be
Oh,
the,
you mean
like
square footage?
yeah, like in your machine trades, you
Yeah.
have to have the high bay
High
space.
bay, electricity, all the
High bay, like
high bay.
tall, and the ventilation, you know, all those things that a manufacturing plant would need to have. So anyways, is there any more questions? I'm going to go back to my hotel and get checked out, but I'm going to hang out with you folks for a while today.
Do
So
you have any ideas on new programs too? We're always looking for those, so get
Thank
ahold
you.
of Kent.
yeah.
I thought that manufacturing signing day was the coolest thing I've ever heard. Who came up with that idea, and how, like, is it, who is the event coordinator for that?
Well, that was through the Chamber of Commerce and John Letourneau through the Anoka Area Chamber. And I don't know when we'll have it again. It's coming
It's
up.
coming up. It's
Yeah.
usually end of March.
We can invite you. Heidi, will you invite? Make sure she gets an invite. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.